Carrie never goes to the movies. She had a waspy mother who told her that only poor people with sick kids sent their kids to the movie theatre, so it was a big deal for her. She got to the theatre late, and when the ticket taker told her the movie had started already, she said, "I'm here for research. You don't think I'd actually go see this movie, do you?" When she came out, she kept thinking about that scene where
Linda Fiorentino, that guy up against the chain link fence.
I'm never having one of those, oh my God, what have I done epiphanies.
what was that all about? Carrie bought 2 pairs of strappy sandals and got her hair cut off. Then, on Sunday evening, hi folks, I thought it might be fun today to start with a bit of a quiz, a Sex and the Quiz tea. Who is the actress who plays Charlotte on the popular sitcom Sex and the City? If you said Katie Holmes, you'd be wrong, but we'd have something in common. Up till this point, I genuinely thought that Kristen Davis was Katie Holmes. Kristen Davis, I know you're watching, and I do apologise. That being said, every day you're not married to Tom Cruise must be an absolute thrill.
One of the best things about living in a city like New York is leaving it.
I'm sure they say the same thing about you, Carrie. Carrie has been invited to spend a weekend at the Hamptons, which from osmosis through various sitcoms, I've been led to believe is a nice part of the world. Her hosts are Patience, Anna Gunn, and Peter, guy you know from work. Carrie enjoys an ample glass of wine and an indoor cigarette while giving her hosts the evil eye. Internally, she is waxing lyrical about how good their marriage is.
If their house wasn't right on the beach, I would have hated them.
It's a solid start for an episode. Wait a minute. I don't think that is Anna Gunn. Oh, that's humbling. 0 for 2, Alex. Boy, women are complicated. Carrie is giving a seminar about her sexual escapades, her choice of words, in exchange for food and board. I'm not sure how metaphorical this is. This could literally be what's happening. In any case, this married couple are far, far too into it.
Tidbits from their sexual escapades.
As if to prove my point, the next morning Peter enjoys a lurk in front of the guest room, nude from the waist down. Presumably to ingratiate herself to her hosts, Carrie is wearing the same outfit. This may even be a deliberate choice from the wardrobe department. I can imagine this being a lot more threatening if he wasn't so earnestly engrossed with Carrie's war stories. I'm not completely convinced this man knows what sex is. I think he might just be excited about meeting new people. Patience, it turns out, is an ironic name when Carrie meets her as she returns home with a redundant bag of tomatoes. Look, Patience, sweetie, I know you've got a lot going on, but you really shouldn't leave your husband alone like that. He could have wandered off. Do you even have a gate for those stairs? Carrie tells Patience about her run-in with a very specific view of Peter, which for some reason makes things awkward. I'm not sure if delivering the news that your spouse is a flasher is the right moment for first genuine smile of the episode, but frankly, I'll take what I can get. Who's ready for another round of Sex and the Quiz Tea? No cheating here. What do you think Anna Gunnant is saying in this clip?
Honey, did Carrie see your dick in the hall?
Diggin' hog? Diggin' hall? Diggin' something.
Oh yeah, the good muffins.
This is real sitcom dad energy. Just say good muffins at the end of every scene and don't say anything about anything. Patience loses hers and breaking bridle kicks Carrie out to the mean streets of New York, where she belongs, for the crime of seeing her husband's diggin' hall, diggin' hog. Carrie's back in New York. Carrie and the gang discuss these revelations over a pint and what might be brunch. Miranda proves how few places we can take her. Carrie says that the flashing didn't feel sexual, and in a rare instance I have to agree with her. Samantha asks the biting question, and a waiter fortuitously shows up with a pepper grinder to make the point visual. Luckily, it also covers up Carrie's projectile eating.
So, how big was it? How big was it? How big was it?
Nice reflexes though. That could have been embarrassing. Miranda keeps adding gifts to my coffers, by gratuitously eating a salad. I mean, I don't know why I'm complaining, at least the salad's in the right place and it's staying there. Samantha takes the pepper joke a bit too far, and my sense of justice compels me to believe that they leave this poor man a very generous tip. Maybe all this innuendo is the reason that no one in this restaurant has time to clean the fucking windows. Apparently, because Carrie is single, she wouldn't understand why Patience is so upset by this turn of events. Single women, according to Miranda, are the enemy. That's so close. If we could get that a little bit closer to the conceptual invasion of Cuba, we might be able to justify this episode title after all. Oh, look at the time. It's lunch. Or maybe it isn't. It looks like it's a bit after 12, but Carrie's wearing her watch wrong. At least that's book accurate. At the risk of agreeing with Carrie twice in an episode, I do find it a bit rich that Carrie's the one treated with suspicion while Peter gets a free pass. I don't know, if you marry a flasher, who are you really angry with? Samantha says that married women are threatened by single women's independence, and I suppose that we have to take a word for it.
Come on, not all married women feel that way.
Oh my god, is that Katie Holmes? No, never mind. Mo and Curly are walking and talking on their way to pick up the third stooge. Stanford didn't get an invite to the Hamptons after what happened last time, so he gets straight to his metaphor. Stanford reports that the Cold War has turned hot, which is ironic because he's never been more alone. The gay community has been swept into a satellite conflict, with many defecting to Hawaii. To hear Stanford tell it, you'd think dating as a gay man would be like the Night of Long Knives. Stanford, you are just single. If you're so upset about it, lose the stupid hat. We run into Joe, a previously card-carrying member of the straight community, now a ring-carrying member of the gay community, along with his husband. Pleasantries are observed, or at least attempted,
Miss Saigon.
before these two lovebirds cut straight to the chase. Joe and Luke offer to take one or two of those pesky eggs Carrie has to lug around. They suggest giving a handful to a surrogate the two have lined up. Carrie is stunned. Luckily, a gay majority is there to make family decisions on her behalf, so I guess karmically it's fair. Meanwhile, Miranda is playing a softball game for her law firm. What? No, that's a thing they do over there. Okay, play on. Also a thing over there, setting up co-workers on blind dates of the wrong gender. The softball thing is a bit on the nose, but thank you writers for trying to squeeze in some actual conflict into this episode. Miranda explains the situation, and despite a bit of awkwardness with Sid, the two go on to make a hell of a softball machine. Everyone is thrilled. Really, 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 really thrilled. Among those thrilled, the senior partner of the law firm. Miranda and Sid get invited to call their boss Chip, which is a bit familiar, but I guess he's just been party to an employee, a lawyer, being provoked to lesbianism with another employee, whom is also a lawyer, by a third employee, Jeff. Maybe a first name basis would smooth things over if it got to that stage. Chip's friendliness is unexpected, so Miranda assumes it has something to do with Sid. All of a sudden, Miranda thinks that being in a gay couple in the 90s, is the highway to easy promotion. She's apparently right, because Chip invites her and Sid to an intimate dinner. Miranda agrees for the both of them, and Sid just sort of goes with it.
We'd love it if you both could make it.
We'd love to.
I guess we know who the real team player is. Speaking of team players, where is Skippy in all of this? I don't know, I'm just so used to him being dumped that he's just looming over my head at all stages. Maybe that's the Cold War metaphor. Miranda goes straight from the ballpark to Carrie's for what must be a very sweaty mug of ice cream. She laments how the optics of being in a relationship has seemingly progressed her career.
I'm determined to make partner in this firm, even if I have to be a lesbian partner.
Miranda is gunning for partner, and the product placement lady is gunning for a promotion too, as Carrie tries on some new bowling shoes. Clown! 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 There's a clown in the apartment! Oh, and those big red shoes too. Carrie's having lunch with her favourite couple, David and Lisa. David and Lisa are still on speaking terms with Carrie, and that's what makes them her favourite couple. Lisa eats something off of David's plate, and for an unprecedented third time this episode, Carrie reads my mind and pretends to disembowel herself with a fork.
You two eat off the same fork. They just...
But we're not just here to have lunch, chat about being single, and mime suicide. We're also here for a fix-up. Surprise! Sean is unperturbed by Carrie's insistence of wearing her watch incorrectly, and decides to stick around after lunch for a few overtime drinks. A week and a half, 2 movies, and a homeware shopping expedition later, Carrie and Sean seem to be going strong. Despite some pretty overt product placement for the film US Marshals, it's a romance story for the ages. Sean seals the deal by inviting Carrie and her friends, which in this case means 2, to a housewarming party. Carrie is nothing if not respectful of other people's time, as she compares him to a DKYN dress.
You know it's not your style, but it's right there, so you try it on anyway.
All while kissing with her eyes open. Gotta say, I wish I was watching US Marshals now. Oh hey, it's working. Miranda and her intellectual beard arrive at her boss's house, and the poor dear has to take a moment to remember what's happening.
Hey!
The others arrive at the housewarming and are disheartened to see the place infested with couples. The show makes it up to us by giving us another Cold War joke, and with that, I think we can finally justify the episode's title. Break out the tequila shots. Samantha's read my mind because she heads straight to the bar.
You have to be Samantha.
Yeah. Where's the bar?
Carrie gets given a tour, and another Cold War metaphor graces the script.
Were Sean's friends Cold War conscientious objectors?
For the record, I'm not sure how one would conscientiously object to a Cold War, but that's for Carrie to explain, which I'm sure she will now. Samantha's in the kitchen doing tequila shots, and out of boredom or spite, has started to tag the men she's already slept with. Aren't you glad you invited her? Isn't she fun? Charlotte thinks that Sean is going to propose, despite having only known Carrie for about 2 weeks. They haven't even looked at houses together, Charlotte. Calm down. That being said, it is nice for you to have a speaking role this episode. Good for you. The party from hell continues, despite my sincere misgivings, when who should show up but Carrie's not best couple friends.
Surprise!
Patience and the other one are as ready to move on from this episode as I am. Everything seems to have been forgiven now that Carrie's coupled up. That is, until Samantha rolls up and starts laughing at the second-hand thought of Peter the Pooh.
I heard about you.
Big peppermill deck.
Carrie draws the short straw and has to stay at the party. Charlotte gets to take Samantha home. Carrie intuits some potential awkwardness once again.
Our little ceasefire was over.
Who cares? Meanwhile, we've been cheated out of the actual dinner with Miranda and her boss and their respective trophy wives. What's even the point of an elaborate ruse against your boss if it doesn't blow up in your face? What a waste of time. I may have spoken too soon, as Miranda decides that now that the dinner is over, it is safe to tell her boss about this farcical ruse. Unintuitively, this is considered shrewd in the legal world,
Shrewd move, counselor.
and despite great personal loss to her dignity, nothing comes of it. This has all been for nothing. On the elevator ride down, Miranda kisses Sid Skippy style, which is as dry as you can imagine.
Definitely straight.
Samantha, in order to explain her antisocial behaviour, tactically pretends to be extremely drunk. Charlotte's the chaperone, as Samantha staggers past a professionally disinterested doorman wearing heels. And gloves, now. Where did she get those? Who cares? Oh, it's a Charlotte-Samantha sleepover. That could be fun.
A couple of hours later, Samantha woke up still drunk and still single.
Or not. Samantha, still quite drunk, goes downstairs and seduces the Irish doorman. I'm not sure what the point of this is, but it feels very off-putting. Or at least off-putting in a different way than the show usually is. Charlotte wakes in the night at the sound of a clatter and goes to her couch to see what's the matter. Charlotte is shocked out of her bloomers to see a naked Irishman standing in her hallway. This is unusual for her. At least when he's caught, he's pathetic and perfunctory. Let's give him a chance to explain himself. Let's hear him out.
Don't be scared, miss. It's me, Tommy. I'm just leaving. Your friend invited me up. I know it was wrong, but I've just been so lonely since I left home, and I wanted to feel of it. A woman's touch on me.
Carrie is pulling on a coat and pulling off a band-aid as she admits to Sean that she's actually not that into him. Nice product placement, me. Sean takes it like a champ, and Carrie is refreshingly honest about her motivations. Credit to Carrie, she at least has the courage to have a direct conversation when she knows things aren't working out. You know, I'm maybe a bit harsh on Carrie sometimes, but I like to think that I can give her credit for doing something good when it happens. I'm completely fair. Obviously, she and Sean break up, but you know who would like the milquetoast guy that you had nothing in common with and you just dumped? That's right, it's Charlotte. Luckily, Charlotte's also looking for some new furniture, since her old couch was recently defiled. Perfect excuse for a shopping date. The department store date is going well, until a disagreement about china patterns explodes the relationship before it begins. You'd think in an episode about the Cold War, adding China to the situation would be stabilising. Oh, no lessons learned, none taken. And apparently, we now know that Samantha promises guys she'll call them and never does. None taken. You know, I think ultimately, Carrie says it best.
I had a thought. Maybe the fight between marrieds and singles is like the war in Northern Ireland.
Yes, that's exactly what I've been trying to say this whole time. Explain how, though.
We're all basically the same, but somehow we wound up on different sides.
Yeah? Say what you like about the Troubles, at least Samantha Jones wasn't involved. I'm 90% sure. The episode ends with Carrie and the gang going to the movies together. US Marshals isn't playing anymore. I guess the movies are for poor people, sick kids, and great friends. You know what, overall this was a pretty competently done episode. There were some fun visual gags in there, many of which were deliberate. Considering how openly we were just using people this episode, I'm actually feeling quite placid. Carrie used Sean to work out some stuff going on with her. Miranda used Sid to advance her career. Samantha used that poor working Irishman for some much needed self-esteem. And Charlotte used the old chestnut of disagreeing about china patterns as an excuse to dump the eminently boring Sean, for the second time in about 90 seconds. Charlotte's low profile once again comes in handy by fundamentally doing nothing. The china pattern thing was a bit petty, but I'll interpret that as an excuse to get out of a boring relationship. Carrie is surprisingly sympathetic this episode. She's mainly a victim of her extended friends' prejudices. Despite blatantly wasting Sean's time, she at least has the decency to end it when she thinks that he thinks it might progress further. Miranda is hard to hold accountable, just because of how absurd her situation is, but I'll try. Sid is a real trooper for going along with Miranda's wacky shenanigans, but that doesn't excuse the existence of those shenanigans to begin with. There was also that extremely unpleasant kiss, but I think that may just be how Miranda understands consent. Miranda is ranked so low on the list just because she was the initiator of this chicanery. With the exception of this week's wooden spoon, Samantha. Most of her involvement in this episode seems to be harassing a waiter, going to a friend's party, getting belligerently drunk, on someone else's tequila I might remind you, mocking a stranger's genitals,
Big peppermill deck.
and defiling a friend's couch in a drunken stupor with that poor working class Irishman who was put in a, hopefully figuratively, awkward position. For the record, I'm not sure how drunk Samantha is supposed to be diegetically. The show treats it all as above board, and I'm willing to say that well, there's still next week's episode to endure, so we've got that to look forward to. Take the moment to count up your points for the Sex and the Quiz Tea. If you got 0, fair, so did I. You know, with hustle like that, we might be able to justify an episode title like this. Okay, well, I've burnt my tongue.